Alright, boys and girls, let's read our next book. This book is called Ruby the Copycat. What do you think the word copycat means? Look at the two girls on that cover. What do you notice about how they are dressed? Yeah, they're dressed the same. This is Angela, and this is Ruby. Which one do you think is the copycat? Let's read to find out. Ruby the Copycat by Peggy Rathmann. Monday was Ruby's first day in Miss Hart's class. Class, this is Ruby, announced Miss Hart. Ruby, you may use the empty desk behind Angela. Angela is the girl with the pretty red bow in her hair. Angela smiled at Ruby. Ruby smiled at Angela's bow and tiptoed to her seat. I hope everyone has had a pleasant weekend, said Miss Hart. Does anyone have something to share? I was the flower girl at my sister's wedding, said Angela. That's exciting, said Miss Hart. Ruby raised her hand halfway. I was the flower girl at my sister's wedding, too. What a coincidence, said Miss Hart. Angela turned and smiled at Ruby. Ruby smiled at the top of Angela's head. Class, please take out your reading books, said Miss Hart. At lunchtime, Ruby hopped all the way home on one foot. When Ruby came back to school, she was wearing a red bow in her hair. She slid into her seat behind Angela. I like your bow, whispered Angela. I like yours too, whispered Ruby. Class, please take out your math books, said Miss Hart. Why do you think Ruby puts a red bow in her hair? On Tuesday morning, Angela wore a sweater with daisies on it. At lunchtime, Ruby hopped home sideways. When Ruby came back to school after lunch, she was wearing a sweater with daisies on it. I like your sweater, whispered Angela. I like yours too, whispered Ruby. Boys and girls, she didn't have a sweater with daisies on it, like Angela, so Ruby made one. Do you see how she pinned the daisies on a purple sweater? She's trying really hard to be just like Angela. On Wednesday, Angela wore a hand-painted t-shirt with matching sneakers. After lunch, Ruby hopped back to school wearing a hand-painted t-shirt with matching sneakers. Why are you sitting like that? Whispered Angela. Wet paint, said Ruby. On Thursday morning, during sharing time, Angela modeled the flower girl dress she wore at her sister's wedding. Ruby modeled her flower girl dress too right after lunch. Angela didn't whisper anything. So do you think that Ruby was really a flower girl in her sister's wedding? Or was she just saying that because Angela was? I think this picture right here, this face, I think she's kind of getting maybe a little annoyed with Ruby and how Ruby is copying everything she's doing. By coincidence, on Friday morning, both girls wore red and lavender striped dresses. At lunchtime, Angela raced home. Angela raced home, not Ruby. When Angela came back to school, she was wearing black. How does Angela feel now? On Friday afternoon, Miss Hart asked everyone to write a short poem. Who would like to read first? Said Miss Hart. Angela raised her hand. She stood by her desk and read. I had a cat I could not see, because it stayed in back of me. It was a very loyal pet. It's sad we never really met. That was very good, said Miss Hart. Now who's next? Miss Hart looked around the room. Ruby? What do you think of Angela's poem? Angela's poem said I had a cat that I could not see because it stayed in the back of me. It was a loyal pet, but it was sad that we never really met. What do you think that Ruby's poem's going to be like? Do you think it's going to be just like it? Ruby stood and recited slowly. I had a nice pet who I never met because it's always stayed behind me, and I'm sure it was a cat too. Ruby smiled at the back of Angela's head. Someone whispered. Ruby sat down. What a coincidence, murmured Miss Hart. Angela scribbled something on a piece of paper. She passed it to Ruby. The note said, You copied me. I'm telling Miss Hart. P.S. I hate your hair that way. Oh, that's so sad. Ruby buried her chin in the collar of her blouse. A big tear rolled down her nose and plopped onto the note. When the bell rang, Miss Hart sent everyone home except Ruby. What do you think is going to happen next? Miss Hart closed the door of the schoolroom and sat on the edge of Ruby's desk. Ruby, dear, she said gently, you don't need to copy everything Angela does. You can be anything you want to be, but be Ruby first. I like Ruby. Miss Hart smiled at Ruby. Ruby smiled at Miss Hart's beautiful polished fingernails. Have a nice weekend, said Miss Hart. Have a nice weekend, said Ruby. Oh my goodness. On Monday morning, Miss Hart said, I hope everyone had a pleasant weekend. I did. I went to the opera. Miss Hart looked around the room. Does anyone have something to share? Ruby waved her hand. Glued to every finger was pink plastic fingernails. I went to the opera too, said Ruby. She did not, said Angela. Miss Hart folded her hands and looked at Ruby very serious. Guys, she's now copying her teacher. Ruby dear, said Miss Hart gently, did you do anything else this weekend? Ruby peeled off a fingernail. I hopped, said Ruby. The class giggled. Ruby's ears turned red. But I did! I hopped around the picnic table 10 times. Ruby looked around the room. Watch! Ruby sprang from her desk. She hopped forward, she hopped backwards, she hopped sideways with both eyes shut. What do you think her classmates are going to think of the hopping? The class cheered and clapped their hands to the beat of Ruby's feet. Ruby was the best hopper they had ever seen. Miss Hart turned on the tape player and said, Follow the leader, do the Ruby hop. So Ruby led the class around the room while everyone copied her. And at noon, Ruby and Angela hopped home for lunch. The end. Oh my goodness, boys and girls. If this book didn't teach you that you need to be yourself, I mean, I don't know what other book would. This was a perfect book to to teach us about how we should be ourselves. We shouldn't copy what other people do. Ruby wasn't sure how to fit in, so she decided to copy everyone. She was new, she was nervous, and so she was trying to fit in. I don't think she was doing it on purpose. She wasn't purposely trying to copy everything that they were doing. She just wanted to fit in. And then she realized that that wasn't the way to fit in. Being herself was the way to fit in. Ruby showed her classmates who she really was by showing them a special hop. What is something special you do that is different from other children? Boys and girls, I want you to think about this. What is something special that you do that is different from other children? I want you to draw a picture of something special that you do that is not like everyone else. Just something unique about you. I look forward to seeing your drawings. I hope you enjoyed this book, Ruby the Copycat, and I hope you were all like Ruby at the end of the story when she is herself. I hope you all are yourself.